You can still retire in America on a Social Security check. Yes, really. 10 towns. Rents around $550 to $750. Cost of living roughly a quarter below the national average. No state tax on Social Security in multiple states. It's real. It's happening. But here's the catch. Slower internet, long drives for basics, harsh winters or desert heat, and nightlife that ends at sunset. In the next few minutes, I'll show you where your money stretches and exactly what you give up to make it work, so you don't move for a bargain and get blindsided by the fine print. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You want space, quiet, and a rent that still thinks it's 2004. Valentine says yes. One bedroom's around $550. Cost of living about 25% under average, and a median home price in the low six figures. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Groceries can be a scavenger hunt. Specialty anything is a half-day trip. Internet speeds yo-yo, and prime deliveries feel prime-ish. You will drive. Daily life is diner burgers, river fishing, and neighbors who wave because they know you. Nebraska's Social Security taxes are messy, but property tax relief and senior programs help. Healthcare exists. Serious care means miles. Low violent crime and predictable routines cut stress. The trade-off? You're the delivery guy and IT support. If wide open quiet sounds perfect, wait until we add snow, lots of it. What if rent hovers near $600 and a whole house costs less than a new SUV? Ironwood makes that real, with living costs about 27% below average. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. You're signing a lease with winter. Lake effect dumps turn snowblowers into pets, and sunlight feels optional for months. Michigan exempts Social Security from state tax. Seniors can snag property tax breaks. Healthcare is local. Specialists mean hours on the road. Utilities spike hard in deep winter, so budget for insulation and fuel. Crime stays low, blocks feel tight-knit, and cabin fever is real. Seasonal work and tourism shape paychecks. If you want warmth with your savings, there's a different quiet down south. Median rent sits around $575. Violent crime runs low. The Friday plan? Bluegrass jams on the square that cost you nothing and still feel like a show. Cost of living lands roughly 27% under national, so your check stops sweating. But here's the catch. Your Zoom call may freeze mid-sentence. Specialty groceries, fiber internet, sushi, pack a cooler, and a hotspot. The Wi-Fi is slower than molasses in January, and they weren't kidding. Arkansas doesn't tax Social Security, and senior property tax breaks stack nicely. Healthcare is there. Serious specialists are a regional trip. Utilities and groceries run modest, but shelves are thin, so your money covers rent, food, and front porch music. The fee is patience. Prefer mountains with chillier air and coal town grit? Let's head east. About $600 rent. Cost of living nearly 29% under the national average. Bluefield literally sells itself as nature's air conditioning. Cool evenings, low bills, and a porch that earns its keep. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Winters bite, jobs are thin, and nightlife is crickets. You trade convenience for quiet. And yes, you better like your porch. West Virginia is phasing out state tax on Social Security, so your check keeps more juice. Healthcare exists locally. Top specialists are a drive. Crime runs low enough to relax. Groceries and gas stay manageable, and fewer restaurants mean fewer surprise charges. If you want friendly faces and calm, this is a cheat code. Prefer historic charm? Maryland next. Downtown feels like a set from a period drama. Pedestrian mall, postcard train station, and rents around $700 to $750. Cost of living sits roughly 27% under national norms, so a Social Security check actually breathes here. But here's the catch. Wi-Fi can lag, crowds are thin, and the big city buzz lives 2 mountain ranges away. It's charm over convenience, on purpose. Maryland exempts Social Security from state tax, and seniors get property credits and pension exclusions. Healthcare access is decent locally. Housing is undervalued by coastal standards. Groceries and utilities are reasonable, but selection is limited. Transit is car first. Your check buys peace and history. Fine print. You provide entertainment and patience. Prefer Tennessee prices with baseboat energy? Welcome to Paris, where a paycheck-sized Social Security benefit actually covers rent, groceries, and a little fun near Kentucky Lake. Rents hover in the mid-$600s to low-$700s, and the overall cost sits well below national norms. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Cultural amenities are minimal. Public transit is a myth, and you will be driving a lot. It's like living in a giant cul-de-sac with catfish. Tennessee's zero state income tax keeps your Social Security intact, and seniors tap property tax relief. Healthcare is regional with reasonable access. Crime is manageable, and community ties run deep. Internet varies by neighborhood. Baseboat Saturdays, yard sales, low bills. Fewer frills, more miles. Want hot springs and desert sunsets next? Welcome to Truth or Consequences, where median rent lands around $650 to $750. The cost of living sits 22% under national, and mineral baths run about $10. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. The air is dry, summers are serious, and errands are strategic. Hydration isn't a tip, it's a lifestyle. Wind can feel like a sandblaster. New Mexico doesn't tax Social Security, and low-income property rebates help. Healthcare is local. Big specialists mean Las Cruces or Albuquerque. Utilities swing with the heat. Groceries are basic. Nightlife clocks out at sunset. The vibe stays slow, friendly, and a little weird. Your check goes further. Your joints may thank you. Stress dissolves in hot water. If isolation is your love language, the next town is the PhD program. $580-ish rents and a cost of living 30% lower sounds unreal until you clock the miles. Presidio sits at the far end of the map. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. No movie theater, limited groceries, and a quick run to bigger stores eats a day. Self-reliance isn't a vibe, it's survival. Texas takes no state income tax, and seniors can lock in property taxes at 65. Crime is suspiciously low. The sky is cinematic, nights are silent, and the mail truck is your lifeline. Healthcare is limited. Serious care means serious miles. Internet is workable, not blazing. If solitude, safety, and savings top your list, this is a unicorn. Want forests and frugality? Head northwest. $600 to $750 rent, no state sales tax, and a cost of living about 25% under national. Your cart rings up what the shelf says. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Rural Oregon runs on low bandwidth and short store lists. If you need a mall, you're already in the car. Entertainment is hikes, rivers, and whatever you grill. Seniors can use Oregon's property tax deferral, which delays those bills. Blue Mountain Hospital handles local care. Specialists mean road miles. Utilities and groceries land moderate, but choices are slim, which quietly kills impulse buys. So, your budget breathes, your calendar calms, and the mountains don't charge admission. Trade-off: slow internet and DIY leisure. Now, want low costs with actual wilderness at your door? Frontier Town, roughly $650 rent, about 21% under national costs. People wave. Elk sometimes do too. Your Social Security check actually covers life without stress spikes. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. No Uber, nightlife is the Milky Way, and winter driving is a sport. Isolation is part of the price tag, and you pay it in miles and planning. Idaho doesn't tax Social Security, and the grocery tax credit literally sends money back at tax time. Healthcare is local but limited. Bigger needs mean a trek. Internet ranges from fine to forget it, depending on your spot. So you swap convenience for calm. Daily subscription? Rivers, trails, silence. We started open prairie, now deep woods. Let's land this plane. So, here's the thing. Affordability isn't free. You're paying in bandwidth, distance, and season. If that trade works for you, a fixed check turns flexible fast. Rents in these towns sit far below big city averages, which means actual leftover cash. Let that sink in. Like this video, so the algorithm thinks I'm important. Subscribe because someday you'll want to escape. Would you live where the nearest sushi is 90 minutes away, or where winter eats cars? Comment desert soak or snow bunker. The bargain is real. The fine print is too. Pick the place you'll enjoy paying for, not just the one that's cheapest.